Good morning. Good morning, Tracy. Yes, good to be back. All right, we're going to wait a little past the bottom of the hour here, and then we'll get started. Good morning, Shadow. All right. In the meantime, I will. Good morning, Sergey. In the meantime, I will display the risk disclosure. You guys can review that in the meantime while we wait folks to join us. Don't need Grammarly. Good morning, Sunil. Good morning, Will. All right. Okay, let's go ahead and get started, guys. Just going to go review the risk disclosure here. Just a reminder that the content that's being published and distributed by Market Trader and its affiliates is to be treated as general information only. None of the information by the company or contained herein is intended as investment advice and offered to buy, sell, recommend, endorse, sponsor any security, company, or fund. Okay. Future trading does contain a fair amount of risk and is not for every investor. An investor could potentially lose all or more of their investment capital. Only risk capital should be used without jeopardizing one's financial security. And only those individuals with sufficient risk capital should consider trading. Again, nothing contained herein is a solicitation to offer to buy, sell futures, options, or Forex. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Okay. So now that we got our risk disclosure out of the way here, guys, we'll go ahead and move on to the news. The news has in store for us. Since this is the beginning of the week, we'll probably take a peek here at some of the higher time frames just to make sure that we're aligned with the general direction of the market. Okay, as we approach the markets. Okay, so appears that we have some light news today. We have Fed member Goolsbee speaking at 10 a.m. today. We have some housing numbers, I guess, coming in at 10 a.m., which could impact the markets. And I guess the bigger thing is probably the thing that's probably going to be the biggest potential impact is the G20 meetings with all the various unrest that we're having and we're seeing in the world, and these meetings could generate even more. So let's see. Oh, did I not share that? I did not. I did share that. Okay. All right. So now that we've gotten the both the risk disclosure and news out of the way, let's go ahead and move on to the markets. So I'm going to go ahead and continue with the and look at the review through the Top Step platform here, guys. All right. So we'll just go ahead and do our review from there. Okay. All right. Let's see. All right. So let's go ahead and start with gold here. All right. We'll start with the gold market and then move our way through the markets. So just kind of locating myself here. So we're going ahead and move this to load gold. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and expand this. Let's change it to the full mini market. Okay. So let's see. I think that's pretty much. remove this one here. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and start with the just gonna take a brief look at the weekly chart and then move on to the daily. Okay. So move the things around to different screens here, guys. Apologize for this. So here we are. So taking a look at these markets, we're gonna go ahead and start with the weekly chart. We're gonna just kind of disable some things here, just kind of to get a view of what the market is trying to accomplish here. Okay. I like doing this kind of higher time frame review as a way to kind of make sure that I'm aligned with a general view of the market. Okay. So as you can see here, we had a few weeks of bearish activity, but to be honest and to be fair, I mean, outside depending on how you draw this, really hasn't. Maybe it did peak slightly below maybe some channels here that you might generate here, but really hasn't really broken any significant structure to the downside. Okay. Taking a look at this from a kind of this kind of view, I see that it's broken the channel to the downside, but it immediately is kind of reacted off an area here where I would expect some buyers. So the week has started with a bullish candle, okay, against an area that you would normally expect support. Okay. So this area right here would be an area that you would, if you look at it, from afar, you would say that this would be a natural area for price to stall. Okay. So price has come into a demand area. It's like I said, it broke a little bit of structure. We had a price event that closed below this channel. Okay. And now has come into an area where we would expect some buying, and sure enough, we've received that so far. Okay, this is a weekly chart. We don't know how it's going to close. Okay, but certainly has started off well. Okay, moving on to the daily chart. Okay, so daily chart here. Okay, so we have kind of a 3-bar reversal pattern that's being established here in the daily. Okay, which could indicate maybe the potential of maybe some higher prices in this market, right? In order for that to happen, obviously this needs to close as strong or equally as strong by the end of the day. Okay, we're certainly a fair amount of time away from this session closing, but nonetheless, we have a 3-bar kind of reversal pattern that is being established or being developed on the daily chart. Okay, moving on to the 4-hour chart. Kind of continuing our review here. So we're starting to begin to get a series of higher highs and higher lows. Okay. Similarly, if if this swing is going to be a swing that matters, okay, then the view is that that will probably most likely hold this level here. Okay, this seems like an area right around let's say 2610, maybe as high as 2620, somewhere in that range. This area right here could be an area where we could, potentially get a continuation move lower in this market. Okay. Okay. So again, we've gotten our little bit of pullback. Again, if you look at this, we've had a few swings here to the downside. Okay. This doesn't quite look like some of the retracements we've seen. Okay. This one seems to have a little bit more momentum behind it. Okay. But nonetheless, it's an area where we could expect maybe potentially price to potentially reverse and continue lower from here. Okay. So for me, if I am indeed bullish on this market, then what I would like to see is price close above 2620. Okay. Price close 2620, at which point I would be interested in a pullback to 2620 for a continuation move to the upside. Okay. That's kind of what I'm looking for. That's kind of what I'm looking for to the bullish side. As I mentioned, if we are unable to get above 2620, then a case can be made for price to continue lower from here. Okay. So those are the kind of a couple of scenarios that I'm looking at from a 4-hour basis. Okay. So let's take a look at the 30-minute chart. This is where we start to do a little bit of volume analysis here. We're going to go ahead and remove some of our, so we'll leave the supply and demand zones there. Not sure. Let's maybe remove this channel up above us here. Okay. All right. So we have VWAP. Okay. Daily VWAP. We have price above that. Let's change the color here. I like blue. Is that an anchor VWAP or yeah, I think that's regular VWAP. Okay. So that's the blue. Okay. So price is above our daily VWAP. All right, indicating that there is a fair amount of momentum or sentiment is to the bullish side. I'm going to go ahead and let's see. So we have a kind of a supply area here, and then our demand zone. You can see how price has kind of reacted off of this demand zone multiple times before it's reacted. So we're going to go ahead and open up our fixed range volume profile here and see where price is in relation to value. Okay, so we're going to look at the 15th here. We're going to look at the start of the 15th, which is right about here. I'm going to drag that across to the close right about there. And you can see that we're well above value. Okay, we're going to go ahead and extend these lines. Okay, so we have a line here. That's value area high. And that down here is also, it looks like point of control as well as value area low. Okay. So yes, market sentiment is bullish given the fact based on what we're seeing price wise in comparison to, let's see, stretch this out here a little bit, make this, use as much of the real estate as I can here. Okay. So market is above value, indicating that the market sentiment is bullish. Okay. Coming into an area, like I said before, into an area of supply. Okay. So again, this area could provide an area where we could see a reversal or a reversal back down in price. We are a bit, I guess we would be a bit extended. At this point, we're a bit extended from VWAP. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and draw an anchored VWAP here at the kind of the open of London. You can see that also gives us an indication that there's, momentum to the upside. I'm going to go ahead and open up our ADR here, and you can see that ADR is also indicating that there is a fair amount of momentum to the upside. Okay. Our positive DI is above our negative DI, and we have our ADX indicator indicating that the directional move has some momentum behind it. Okay. All right. Last order of business for me is to add our levels. Okay. So we'll go ahead and locate those and add them to the chart. Okay. All right, so here's our levels. See if I can shrink this down here a little bit. Okay, here are levels that we're tracking in this market. Okay, we have value area high coming in at 25.75. We have value area low coming in at 25.66. That seems in order. Our average session range high looks like it's already been exceeded for today. Okay, as well as our average daily range high has been exceeded. Okay, so either that tells us a couple of things. Either that tells us that maybe that there further upside. Warning, would you take the gap in the value area low? Gap in value area low. Yeah, yeah. Oh, so so this is obviously I guess the open of the market here. Obviously that's an indication that there's a was bullish. At some point, I would expect that to be how do you say revisited. But I don't know if that's going to happen today. So for today's consideration, I'm not so sure because there's a fair amount of price structure that price would need to get through and to get down to that level. So maybe not so much for today, but I would expect that at some point we will come back to revisit these areas. Okay. So so yeah, so like I was saying, right now we are have already exceeded average session range high here at 2604. Okay. The fact that we've exceeded the range here so early in the market. This I think this was actually more of a London. Let me see if there's any sort of adjustment that needs to be made here. Um, just gonna double check. Yeah, no adjustment at this point. How can we exceed ASR 3 minutes after the open? Um, well, the session that I have established right now is a London session. So the U.S. session technically does not open until the equities open in about 40 minutes. So this ASR range will adjust at that point. Okay. So that's why we could exceed we could exceed because it's London. Okay, we're marking London here. Okay, all right. Okay, so these numbers, average session ranges are London ranges. Okay, I expect that we will get a kind of a reevaluation or a re that this will be adjusted again once we have the equities open. Okay, all right. Okay, so again, so what to make of this market? Well, the next thing I'm going to draw here is our initial balance range here. Okay, so this is a 30-minute bar. So this is our initial balance low. This right here is our initial balance high. Okay, um, and we're coming into an area of supply. Okay, so it would not surprise me in the least if we make a push higher, okay, and have sellers step in, okay, into this market, okay. Since we're up against a supply zone, right? That this could be an area where we could see a change in direction in price. Okay. Now, if we get above, right, we get above this 2620 level that I mentioned back we were talking on the weekly chart, then I would maybe change my tune. Okay. But right now, as long as this is above us here, right? This is this area right here. As long as it's above us, there's a possibility that sellers could step into this market. Okay. So I'm going to be a kind of a guarded. I'm going to be guarded as far as the bullish side. To be honest, I would like to be bullish, lower, right? So again, if I'm going to be bullish in this market, let it be closer to this anchored VWAP, right? Or maybe around 2600. Let me be bullish around that level. 2600 in particular is a solid level because it also not only is it providing us an area here of prior resistance, right? It's also a psychological level. Okay. So this right here, 2600, expecting and waiting for a pullback to that level might be a place and also is aligned with our anchored VWAP. Okay. So I would not be super keen on buying up against the supply zone. Okay. Again, I'm looking to the left. How do I arrive at this supply zone? Well, I look at it from the left on based on the left hand side here. Okay, so we're coming up into an area where we could see sellers step in. Okay, so that's kind of what I'm seeing in the gold market. Like I said, the move at the start of the session or the start of the week has been bullish. Okay, we've been bullish since the open. Okay, yesterday. All right. And now it's a question of are we going to continue this move to the upside? Well, for me, if I'm going to participate in this move to the upside, I need to find better location. Okay. I need to find better buy location. And right now, for me, the better buy location is around 2,600. Okay. That would be the better buy location for me. All right. Now we have 2,600 here. The next logical level here is the value area high. Okay. But that's certainly a ways away from the market. Okay. There's obviously the anchor VWAP and the daily VWAP that'll offer us some areas as well. I'm gonna see if I can add my 233 day EMA here. Change this to 233 and mark this as gold. Okay, so a 233. So we're also exceeded our 233 day EMA. So a lot of indications here that maybe there is a lot of confluence on potential price heading higher here. Okay, really the only thing that's kind of keeping me from really entertaining along at current prices is the fact that we're coming into a supply zone. Okay, coming into an area of resistance. That's what's kind of causing me to kind of maybe tap my brake here a little bit and maybe wait for price to come down to maybe a logical level for me to participate. All right. So that's kind of what I'm seeing in the gold market, guys. I think, it's looking relatively bullish. The only thing I would say is that we are coming into a supply area, and that supply area could end up becoming resistant, and it could create a situation where we're maybe pulled back off of this level some. Okay. All right. I think that's all I have for the gold market. We're going to go ahead and save this away, and we're going to move into the crude oil market. All right. Just going to change this to the regular mini contract. Okay. It's already so guys, at this point, you should be trading the F contract. Okay. We had rollover last week. So at this point, you should be trading some of the drawings. Okay. All right. So let's take a closer look at the crude oil market. All right. So let's see. We're about to look at the weekly chart here. Okay, weekly chart, similar to kind of what we were saying about gold. Okay, although I would say that crude oil has been in a range, okay, of late, right? We've been kind of hovering or ranging between 81 as low as 65, or not 65, but 66, maybe as low as 63. Okay, we've kind of been ranging in this market, right? Ranging in this market, right? But kind of sloping down. Okay, so we've been in this range, really, kind of reacting to the movements in this relative range here. Okay, now price has come again to an area where we would expect to have some support here, right? This area here would be an area where we would expect to receive some support. And in turn, we have started the week with a bullish candle. Okay. Now, looking at the daily chart. Daily chart, again, unlike unlike gold, we don't have that same kind of reversal pattern that we saw, right? We did have a 3-bar reversal pattern that led to a little bit of a rally, but we have yet to make a similar kind of pattern here in the crude oil. Okay, so right now, even though we have a bullish candle, we don't have the same kind of patterns that we've seen where we've rallied away from certain areas like this. Okay, so like I mentioned, this area right here, this area I'm about to draw a box for, is an area of demand, right? So I'm going to kind of color that in red and then green. Sorry. Okay, this is an area where I would expect to see buyers in this market. All right. Now the question is, are we seeing price action to embrace that? And I would say right now, no, right? We still haven't broken any new highs in this market. Okay. So my line in the sand, okay, for this would be, can we get above let's call it 68.50. Okay. Okay. I need to see price get above 68.50 in order to kind of maybe change my view and start to break some structure to the upside. Because right now I see that price is below our EMAs. Okay. I see that price is, still, creating a little bit of bearish structure here to the downside. Okay. So for me to begin to embrace this, to embrace bull or longs, I need to see price get above 68.50. And once we get above 68.50, maybe that'll offer me an opportunity for a rally back up to 72, maybe beyond. Okay. All right. Let's look at the 4-hour chart. 4-hour chart. Okay, so we did get a little bit of, let's turn off top step levels here for a second. Okay, so we'll look at this a little bit. Now, we got a little bit of a pattern here to indicate that maybe we are looking to maybe head higher in this market. We have, again, there's that, we have that 68.20, that 68, what was that level I had mentioned in the daily? I would say that for the 4-hour chart, we're looking at 68.15. Okay, to break, in order for us, we have this level here that I mentioned, 68.50, and then 68.15 would be the first indication that we're starting to break structure to the upside. Because again, if I draw my channels here, we are still very much in a bearish channel to the downside. Okay. Nothing has indicated or broken to the upside as of yet. Okay. It's not to say that it cannot happen. We have a developing candle here that is right up on the edge of the upper end of the channel. And so far it has not reacted in the same way as other times that it's come up to this level. So this could provide maybe an opportunity where we head higher from this point. But to be honest with you, I'd like to see it get above 68. Okay. I'd like to see a new high established before I start to entertain longs in the crude oil market. Okay. Moving on to the 30-minute chart. Okay, 30-minute chart. Here we are. Like I said, we are starting to show signs that maybe we're breaking some structure to the upside. We'll probably need to adjust this a little bit, okay, to encompass what's happening on the 30-minute chart. So we're starting to see some action here that could lead to price, rallying from here. Okay. Let's go ahead and open up our fixed range volume profile. Okay, we're going to go ahead and locate the 9 a.m. candle from Friday. Okay, drag that across to the close of Friday. And you can see technically we are still inside value. Okay, so we really haven't, I guess you could consider this balance, right? So we have value area high here. Okay, value area high here. Excuse me. And then we have value area low. All right. So right now we opened the market. This is the beginning of our initial balance range. We opened the market inside value. Okay. So this is going to be my initial balance range, right? I'm going to adjust as we proceed here. Okay, there's our initial balance range. Okay, so right now we really haven't done anything. All right, we're just kind of stuck in this range, right? So so notice how this 68 level is becoming more and more apparent, right? We had mentioned that 68 was an important level on the 4-hour chart, I believe, right? 68.15 or 68.10 was our level on the, and then we have 68.54 above us, right? So right now, I would say that we need to remain patient with the crude oil market. We need to wait to see if price will, after the initial balance range is established, right? Whether price breaks above this initial balance range. I'm already having to adjust this a little bit to accommodate the movement. Okay, but if we do get a break above initial balance and eventually above this value area high, we may be in for a move, a significant move in this market. Okay, so right now we're starting to see some signs that maybe there's some bullish behavior or some bullish price action ahead. Okay, so let's go ahead and move into. Let's add our levels here to this chart. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and do that. Okay, so here we are. There are levels. Okay, so we have our value area low that's coming in at 66.76. Okay, that's within, actually a little bit higher, 66. This is right about here, I guess. 66.76 is our value area low. Our value area high is coming in at 67.98. Okay. We have our point of control at 66.96. Okay, so we're above point of control, which is down below here, right? 66.96. That's our point of control. Okay, this is our point of control from last session. We're going to make that red. Okay, that's our point of control. This is initial balance range that's being established. Okay, so like I said, what I'm going to be looking for in this market is I want to see a definitive break of initial balance in a direction. I would say that if I had to choose what direction that would be, right now it feels like it's going to be to the upside, but that doesn't necessarily have to be the case, right? We could get a break of initial balance to the downside, okay, and we can get another leg to the downside because the market overall has been ranging but bearish, right? So there's nothing that says that we can't get price to kind of reverse from here, right, and extend lower. Okay, so my first test is to see where price, which direction does price move, which direction will price extend the initial balance range. That's going to be my first order of business. Okay, until that happens, I'm going to be sitting on my hands in this market. So I'm going to be waiting here for another 55 minutes and see what direction did this move. Okay, which direction do we get the initial price to break initial balance, and then see if I can position myself in a trade that maybe will take me back up to maybe the 233-day EMA or back to the highs of London. Okay, that's kind of what I'm looking at. Again, that would be aligned with the general view of this market, right? It's in range. So if it's in range, it's gonna basically pop from one extreme to the other, right? So that's kind of what I'm looking at in the crude oil market. Again, right now, I would say that if I had to choose one direction, it would be to the long side. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and draw in my anchored VWAP here and see if I can locate a place where I can add it. Okay. So anchored VWAP, I think I'm going to put it right about here, low of the session. Okay. And you can see here that our anchor VWAP is also, price is also above our anchored VWAP. So we have all the ingredients right now for price, other than the last remaining ingredient for me is the initial balance range. I need a definitive initial balance break in one direction, and then at that point, on the 15-minute chart, and then at that point, I will drop to a 2-minute chart and evaluate what a price event to see if there's a trade in store for me there. Okay. All right. Now let's see. Before we move on to the equity markets, I'm seeing about 25 or so folks in the room, about 14 likes. We've been through a couple of instruments. Would like to see if we can get a few more people hit the like button. And if you're not already a subscriber, I would also encourage you to subscribe to the channel because there is changes coming in the horizon here for this channel here. Okay. So starting December 1st, these sessions that I'm providing here on a daily basis will be available only to members. Okay. So if you take the plunge and establish yourself as a member early, you'll secure some better pricing. Okay. For yourselves if you do. Okay. So okay, now that I've kind of given you kind of a hint here, and at least a little bit of an uptick on likes, let's go ahead and move on to the equity markets. Okay. All right, so we'll take a look at the NASDAQ to start. Okay, and ask ourselves a question. Okay, we'll go ahead and move off of the micros here and look at the weekly chart to start. Okay, weekly start to start and see what the market is trying to accomplish. We'll go ahead and remove our drawings here. Okay, and ask ourselves a question. We'll turn this off here as well and ask ourselves a question. Well, what is the market trying to accomplish? Well, if you start from the left and move your cursor to the right, you can see that the market is trying to head higher. Okay. The market is trying to head higher. Now, did we have a week that was bearish? Yes. Did it break any significant structure to the downside? No. Okay. Significant downside structure break would be if price closes below 20,000. Okay. If we get price to close below 20,000, that would be a price event to take notice of. Okay. If we get price to close below 20,000. All right. Okay. Let's move on to the daily chart. All right. To a daily chart. Okay. We got a little bit of a rounding top happening. We're coming into an area where we could expect some buyers to step into this market. Okay. Does it mean that we're going to get them? No, but do we have evidence on the chart that indicates that there are buyers here? Yes. Okay. So I'm going to be interested to see how well this area here around, I don't know, 20,400 maybe, somewhere in that range. Okay. On how that reacts to price. Okay. How price reacts to this level. And if it happens to hold, then we could be in for another another leg higher. Okay. Now, if we crush this area and close below 20,000, then I think 19,000 or 19,200 is in the cards. Okay. So very important level, I would say, for the bulls to hold. Okay. Is this 20,000 level. Okay. If it manages to hold 20,000, then I would say that there's more upside opportunity in this market. Okay. Now we do have earnings. I think the NVIDIA earnings, are coming up, I believe on Wednesday. So that, could help support the case for a bounce or a continuation move, depending on the results of the earnings. Okay. Let's go ahead and move on to the 4-hour chart. Okay, for our chart, we have price that has exceeded some levels here. We have the 233-day EMA on the 4-hour chart. Price has exceeded that. We've retested that level, and so far it's been supportive. So what is my line in the sand here for for a bull, well, I need to see price break break some structure to the upside. Okay, so I need price to get above 20,650 for me to really begin to embrace maybe some bullish action, and maybe it could take us back up to the highs. Okay, so it's going to be interesting for me to see how price reacts around 20,650, and if we do break above it, that could lead to higher prices in this market. Okay, all right, moving on to the 30-minute chart. Okay, 30-minute chart. Okay, so here we are. Price is below our daily VWAP. I'm going to go ahead and add our anchor VWAP here, right about here. Let's see, right about there. Okay, so we are challenging getting above this anchored VWAP that was established in London. Okay, we have our daily VWAP right in the horizon here. We'll go ahead and open up our fixed range volume profile to get a feel for where we stand in relation to value from Friday. Okay, we're going to drag this across as so. Okay, so let's see. Looks like we are hovering right around value area high. Okay, so we're hovering right around value area high, right about here. Okay, I'm going to color that in as blue. Okay, and value area low. Okay, right below. Okay, right about there. Let's see if I can draw that in. Okay, there's our value area low. Okay, so question for me is, I personally do not want to be a buyer inside this area here. Okay, I think this is a how we call it, a bull trap. Okay, for me. All right. I do not want to be a buyer in this area. Okay. I need to see price get above 650. They need to prove to me that they have the resources to get price above 650 before I will entertain. I am not interested in any sort of opportunities that could appear to be opportunities anywhere inside this area right here. Okay, I'm not interested in it. Okay, this area right here is not an area for me to entertain longs, even though it's gonna potentially provide me something that could break above daily VWAP and value area high. Okay, I need to see price get above 650. 650 is so close that I need to see price get above 650 in order for me to entertain long. Okay, if price gets above this area, this area here, then 650 is going to be my reference level for a continuation move to the upside. Okay, all right. So interesting location right now where the market is. We're up at value area high from Friday. Okay, we took a little bit of a dip inside value. Yeah, not yet, Keith. Not yet, Keith. It'll open up on December 1st. Okay. But if you are an existing subscriber, okay, Keith, if you are an existing subscriber, then I will be giving those folks a kind of a special deal. Okay. So yes, I would encourage you to become an existing subscriber, and then we can go from there. Okay. But that won't happen until December 1st. Okay. All right. So here we are. We are, again, like I said, we're kind of hovering right around the value area high range. This value area high range could be the springboard for further action to the upside. But to be honest with you, I'm just not interested in this area. Okay. Now it could play out the way and maybe provide us a very nice entry for further price action to the upside. But I honestly need to see price break some structure and break this area in particular for me to really entertain. Okay. All right. Let's see. The last order of business for me is to add our levels here. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and add our levels in this market. All right, here we are. Oops. I always forget to do this. Okay, here we are. There's our levels. Let's move this off to an area where it doesn't occupy as much space here. Okay, so this is the areas that I'm going to be looking at in the market. Okay, so we have our value area high here at 20,575. 27, a little bit different. Value area low coming in at 20,428. Okay, and then our point of control coming in at 20,491. Okay, let's see, make sure I got the levels correct. Yeah, that looks correct. Okay, and then we have our average daily ranges and average session ranges that are above us. We have 20,650. Okay, as our average daily range. We have 20,755 way above here as our average session range. Okay, so yeah, so again, there's fair amount of I guess runway, okay, for a potential move to the upside. Okay, and as such, I'm going to be, I guess, demanding, of certain price action in order for me to participate. Okay, so again, the plan right now is for price to get above 650. Okay, which is also our average daily range high. Okay, so there's something about this this 650 level. This is also our average daily range high. So I need to see price get above 650. Otherwise, I think that this is going to serve as an area of resistance. Okay, so if we get a clean break through 650, then I'm going to be looking at 650 for a continuation move to the upside. Okay, all right. So that's kind of what I'm seeing on the NASDAQ. Not seeing any questions, so we're going to go ahead and move on to the ES here. All right. So we're going to open up the ES market. We're going to go ahead and let's see if I can remove some of these drawings. Okay. So here we are. And we'll just kind of do a peek at the weekly, see what the weekly is trying to accomplish. And again, this looks very similar to what we were seeing in the NASDAQ, right? So, our trend in this market remains bullish. Okay. Right. You can see from left to right, right? What direction is this market moving? Well, this market is moving higher, right? This pullback for me really feels like more of a retracement, okay, than an actual breakdown of structure to the downside. Okay. So weekly chart indicates there's more upside in this market. All right. Daily chart, similar. Okay. We have a little bit of a rounding top that occurred here. Okay. I would say that, as long as we stay above 57.40, okay, then I would say that we are still very much in bullish structure. Okay. Right. So 57.40, possibly maybe to a lesser extent, 5,900. Okay. 5,900 would be another level that I would, was prior resistance, becomes support. All right. Moving on to the 4-hour chart. 4-hour chart. Okay. Here we are above our EMA, right? We had a series of candles here that have been bearish. Okay. We've now come into an area, okay, this area that I was telling you about on the daily. We've come into an area that was prior resistance, okay, was prior resistance, now could potentially become supportive, okay? So that's kind of what I'm seeing here. This area here of around 5,900 could be a supportive area, but to be honest with you, I need to see it make a new high. So I need to see it get above, in this case, the most recent high is 59.15. All right. So starting to see some indications. The fact that we are still very much in this swing is, obviously causing me pause here a little bit. We are above We are above the 233-day EMA here. So again, there's still some sentiment that indicates that maybe there's more upside. I'm going to go ahead and open up the fixed range volume profile here. Okay, so we're going to move on to the 30-minute chart and we'll open up the fixed range volume profile to see where we're at with respect to value here. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and locate this here. Right about there. Okay, oops. It went ahead and created my range. Is that right? Shorten this down here a little bit. Okay, there it is. So we are technically inside value, okay, in this market. So here's our value area zone. Okay, there's value area high, there's value area low. Okay, so when we're in a range like this, it means that we're in range kind of price action. Okay, we're not in any sort of definitive trend in any direction. Okay, so again, if I'm going to entertain a trade, I'd like price to break. If I'm looking bullish, I need it to get above 59.15. If I'm bearish, then I need to see if it can get it below 58.85. Okay, that's kind of the range. Otherwise, we're going to hang out. We're going to hang out in this range, bouncing between 59.15 and 58.85. Okay, can you make trades in that range? Sure, right? But my expectations are not going to be, to get back up to this EMA level or other highs that we've had prior. Okay. All right. So yeah. So let's go ahead and add our levels here, guys. I'd like to get through this before too far into the open of the market here, because I know the fair number of you do trade the opening range, which I don't, but I know a fair number of you do. Okay, so let's go ahead and add this here. Okay, those are ranges that we're tracking in this market. Okay, so we have our average session range at 59.30. Okay, it's above here. We have our average daily range slightly below at 59.28. We have our average session range at 58.82. Okay, down below here. And our daily range at 58.71. Okay, so down below here. Okay, so right now we're kind of in the middle. The only other thing that I would like to add to this is my anchored VWAP. I'm going to locate the start of London and see where price is in relation to that. Looks like it's peaked above, right? It's peaked above this daily VWAP as well as our anchored VWAP. Okay, so that could potentially lead to higher prices. But as the same story that I had for the NASDAQ, I need to see price get above 59.15. Okay, if price is able to get above 59.15, then I'm willing to entertain a trade, maybe back up to the 233-day EMA or back to the highs of the start of Friday session at 59.50. Okay, so first order of business for me is to see price break some of these levels. Okay, all right. Let's see if there's anything else here. So right now I'm in sit on my hands location. Okay, I'm right in the middle of the middles. Okay, I'm not interested in participating in this area. Okay, I'll start to pay attention once we get price closer to 59.15. And also pay attention again when price gets down, if it gets down to 58.85, then I'll start paying attention. Okay. All right. Let's look at our last market of the day, and that's the YM. Okay. All right. See what the YM has to say. We'll again remove some of our drawings here. We'll go ahead and locate the 30-minute chart, or not, the weekly chart to start. And I would say, again, similar to what we've been seeing and what we've been watching, okay, in the other markets. I mean, this market does not look like it's looking to head lower, right? We do have a candle that closed bearish. It came into an area where it could be supportive at 43,547. Okay, but there's, again, similar to what we were saying in the other equity markets, right? Price continues to head higher. Okay, this right now feels to me that this is just a brief respite for maybe a continuation move to the upside. Okay, nothing here indicates to me that there is any sort of change in structure. All right, to the bearish side. Okay, I would need to see price get below 41,950. Okay, in order for me to begin to start to entertain that discussion. Right now, we're up on the upper end of the range in an otherwise bullish structure. Okay, that's what I'm seeing on the weekly chart. Looking at the 4-hour chart, okay, 4-hour chart is above our 233-day EMA. Okay, now it did break some structure here, okay, to the downside. That's worth noting. Okay, and it may continue. All right, it may continue all the way down to potentially down to this 43,000 level. Okay, it may. All right. That's kind of how it feels like, right? So this would be a kind of a logical area, this 43,000 level, for price to resume to the upside. Okay, so we're starting to see some signs, right? We're starting to see a little bit overlapping candles, right? We have bullish, neutral bar, bullish, a little bit more significant bearish bar, back to bullish. So we're starting to see some signs that there is some nibbling. Now the question is whether they're nibbling. Are they nibbling to the buy side or are they nibbling to the short side? I'm not really keen on participating in the middle of the swing. I'd like to see it get more to the extreme, maybe down to this level here. This EMA level at 43,000 might catch my attention a little bit. All right. So let's take a look at the 30-minute chart. Okay. 30-minute chart. We're below some of our levels here. Okay. We're below the 233-day EMA. We are slightly above the not anchor VWAP, but daily VWAP. Okay. But in otherwise, it's kind of been sloping to the downside. So similar view, right? I'm not really looking to entertain a long, okay, until we break 43,614, or you call it maybe 43,615, right? In order for me to really to embrace the longs, okay. Otherwise, I basically need to look for location for continuation move to the downside. Okay, I see that the negative DI is losing a little bit of steam here. I also see that the ADX is also losing a little bit of momentum. Okay, but that could change, right? That could change with some price movement. Okay, all right. Let's go ahead and open up. We're already at the open of the market here. So let's go ahead and open up our fixed range volume profile here. Okay. Let's see. Okay, here it is. We're going to look at the Friday start, and we're going to drag that close to the close of Friday. So of all the markets that we've viewed so far, it looks like the Dow is the most bearish. Okay, and the reason I'm saying that is that price has made it below, has opened below, value area low. Okay, has opened below value area low. Okay, so that's out of all the markets that we've looked at so far, it appears that Dow is by far the most bearish as far as the equities go. Okay, I'm just kind of labeling in our point of control, value area high, value area low, and then we're going to capture some of these levels. Okay, and we'll go ahead and draw in our initial balance range here. We'll mark that as in yellow here. Okay, there's our initial balance range. Okay, so let's add some levels here. So we have value area high here at 43,641. We have a value area low here at what was that? 43,515. We have our point of control at POC at 43,586. Okay. And let's see what other we have. Initial balance range that's being established here. Let's take a peek here and see if I can arrive at average daily ranges and average session ranges here. We'll have to pull that off a different platform here. So let's see. So we have 43,795 as our average daily range. 43,795 is our average daily range high. Okay. Okay. And then let's see, average daily range low here is coming in at 43,373. 43,373 is our 43,373. 43. Let's see, ADR low 43,373. And then let's see if I can locate our average session ranges. We'll go ahead and change it to New York now that New York has opened. So we have 43,288, 43,288. ASR low is 43,288. And then our ASR high is 43,897. 43,897. Okay. Okay. All right. So these are going to be some of the levels that we're going to be tracking in this market. Okay. Oops. Where did that go? Did I go somewhere? Looks like it went below here. Okay. There are levels that we're tracking in this market. Okay. So again, Dow right now, you're welcome, Trader Dubois. Dow right now is kind of toying with value area low. Okay. We have an initial balance range that's been established or being established here. Okay. So we're just going to let the market kind of, do its thing here for the next hour. Okay. Before I entertain any sort of trades in any direction. Okay. So right now, assuming that price can stay above value area low, then I would say that there maybe is a possibility that we can maybe rotate through the entire range of value, all right, back up to the top of value here. Okay, that's certainly a possibility. So I'll be waiting to see maybe if the 15-minute chart or some at some point does that. Okay, we have our levels. All right, so I'm going to be patient and wait for our levels to kind of establish here. I'm going to wait for our initial balance range to establish. But yeah, looks like we took a peak below value, okay, and was met with buyers. So yeah, chances are that there's maybe a possibility of extending the value range here. Okay, all right. I think that's all I have to share, guys. Again, it's the start of the week. We don't have to be super aggressive at the start of the week, right? We can kind of, let the market kind of come to us a little bit, make sure that we establish our levels, make sure that we, understand what the market is telling us before we participate in any sort of move in any sort of direction. Okay. So we'll close off like we close off every session, guys. Trade well, trade safe, and trade like a pro, be a market trader. All right, guys. So have an excellent session. We'll have our normal group coaching call later this afternoon at 6 p.m. Central Time. And then I'll be in the Coach Ray's room here for probably another hour or so. And so until then, again, trade well, trade safe. And I'll see you in either location. coach's room or group coaching later this afternoon. All right. Until then, happy trading.